Business as it is a tough arena, like any other arena in sports or in athletics or whatever you want to become a world excellent or excellent at. It is tough, and so is business. Business is tough for many reasons, because there are too many moving parts in businesses. And if you look at businesses as general, I would say 70% of businesses are service oriented, and services are much harder to sell than products. To sell a phone is much easier than to sell a subscription for a software or a subscription for viewers. So business is hard, and most businessmen also, I have a client in London who says that I want to open up a restaurant because my mother is a very good cook. And yes, your mother is a very good cook. She's not a celebrity cook. Do you know how to run a restaurant? And he says, no, I don't. Then I said, you shouldn't go into this business. He says, but my mother's food is so good, it will attract customers. And I say, yeah, she may attract the customers, but you will drive them out because you don't know how to manage hospitality business. You don't know how to manage a restaurant. So, just having somebody who is good at cooking does not entitle you to run a restaurant. You also need to know how to run a restaurant. If you know how to run a restaurant, you can always hire somebody to do the cooking for you. Yeah, you can't be the cook and be in the front desk. You have to have different people doing different things. And a lot of businesses like to micromanage their staff. You should do it like I do it. Yes, but you have to then train them to do it like you do it. You can't expect people to know and read your mind. So that's one of the reasons why most businesses, or businessmen don't do well, is that they have an idea and they think, because my mother is a good cook, I should run a restaurant. It doesn't. Or because my cousin is making money he's running a butchery and he's making a lot of money, I should also run another butchery. And this happens a lot in London, where one Pakistani brother starts a butchery and then his other cousin brother starts a butchery next door and both their businesses flop because they're eating into each other's customers. So again, you need to have a purpose for doing what you want to do in business, in content creation, in anything that you do. If your purpose is very clear, I want to, let's say there is a Nyama Choma place that, or any other, place. I want to make the best Nyama Choma. I want people to, taste the authentic smoky, taste of Nyama Choma that I enjoy. I want others to enjoy. So that's a purpose. That's a message. If you're clear with what you want, then your service and your business will be focused on solving people's problems and not your problems. You may be lacking resources. You may be lacking money. You may be thirsty and eager to make money. But if you don't serve your customers, then your customers are not gonna. They'll see through your body language. If you are desperate, even though your words don't say that you're desperate, but your body language will spell it out, and you'll scare off your customers. So focus on solving your customers' problems, not your problems, and business will thrive. Okay. Having success, I say, most people complain to me that, Harish, why is business so tough? Why does it have to take so long for me to succeed? Why do I have to slog so hard? Why is the graph never straight? Why is it up and down and up and down? And why, So I tell them that, I've seen a lot of one-hit wonders. Somebody who wrote a book and it became a bestseller, and they cannot replicate that ever after. So, there are songwriters that have, succeeded with the first song, and then they are not able to produce anything. I would say, success that came about that way gets into your head, and it's the most destructive way of succeeding. Instead, this up and down, learning the trade, learning the tricks, learning your customers' preferences, understanding your customers' problems and solving them takes much longer. But you understand the mechanics, you understand the engineering behind the success. You know what became successful for what reason. So there is this, a famous Indian story, and it's about a bull. In India, we have lots of buffaloes, and buffaloes are domesticated. So buffaloes always are followed with a bird, a white bird that picks on their body. It picks the ticks and the insects that and so this for some reason the bull and the bird now can speak, and they're having a conversation. So the birdie is complaining that however hard I try, I am not able to get even to the bottom of this tall tree's branches. And the bull says, "Oh, that's an easy fix. I have a trick. I have a solution for this problem." And he says, "Come on, you bull, you can have a solution for this problem." He says, "Yeah, look, the humans, they use, my dung for fueling their stoves. They use it to build their houses. They use it to, grow their crops. This is potent stuff, man. All you have to do is pick at it." Says the birdie. "But what's the harm? Try it." So the birdie does the first pick, and lol, it gets to the bottom branches. Does the 2 picks, lol, it gets to the middle of the branches, and 3 picks, and it's on the top of the tree. And while this birdie has reached there, even before it could enjoy the scenery from up there, the view from up there, a farmer on his rocking chair sees this fat bird, picks up his gun and shoots it down. The moral of the story is that if your success is built on luck and you don't know the engineering behind it, there will be somebody waiting to gun you down. The way you reached up so fast, you'll come down so fast. So do not wish to succeed too quickly. Learn the art, learn the engineering, learn the mechanics of your success, and it only comes through repetitions. You have to do things hundreds of times, thousands of times before you become good at it. I know this is not the advice that you are looking for, but it is the truth. Working on your own, having all the skills and managing everything yourself versus doing what you are good at and hiring the team to do what they are good at, the bits that you are not good at. That's the question most entrepreneurs and small entrepreneurs are asking. And my advice is don't be a jack of all trade and master at none. I used to run a construction company, and I never knew how to plaster, I never knew how to weld, I never knew how to do plumbing or electric, but I knew how to manage people. And I knew that the site agents that I hire would manage the sites much better than I could. So that allowed me to delegate that responsibility to the site agents, and it freed me space to focus on building the pipeline, doing the sales and marketing, and making sure that the work that this team of 30 people with power tools can consume a lot of work. So, I didn't want to suffer from this feast and famine scenarios where, because you have done some marketing, you get 3 or 4 jobs, you are busy, and then you forget to do the marketing, and then the pipeline dries, and then you go into feast mode. So I always made sure that, there are 4 or 5 or 6 jobs waiting to be done, so that, the pipeline never dries. I don't have to dismantle my team. Every time you come into a famine zone, you have to dismantle the team, the core team. And to build again, that core team will never be the same. So it's better to focus on the sales and marketing as a business owner and leave the other things and delegate it to others. So yes, because of lack of resources, you want to try and do everything yourself, but please don't do it. It's much easier to hire people, and they're not that expensive if you put your mind to it. And they can do a better job than you can do in many tasks. So let them do their specialty and you do your specialty, which is sales and marketing. If you focus on the sales and marketing, most of your problems in business or in content creation will be solved. If you like our content, like and tell us what problems you are suffering that we can help you solve.